Wife defended her friend cheating on her fiancé, and now I'm questioning her fidelity too. My 32 male wife's 30 female friend cheated on her fiancé at her bachelorette party. My wife doesn't think it's that big of a deal. Help? A few weeks ago, my wife went away to Miami for one of her best friend's bachelorette party. After she got back, I overheard a conversation between my wife and another one of her friends that was also at the bachelorette party. Long story short, the bride cheated on her fiancé while she was there. She met a guy at a club, took him back to her hotel room, and they had sex. I was shocked. To me, this was a big deal. The wedding is in a few weeks, but my wife didn't think it was that big of a deal. My wife said she shouldn't have done it, but it was just sex with a guy she'd never see again. Just one last fling before her friend settled down. Nothing to call off a wedding for. I could not believe what I was hearing, and my thoughts immediately turned to my wife's own bachelorette party. She went to Vegas for the weekend with the same group. If she didn't think it was a big deal, did she hook up with someone while she was there? She swore on the life of our daughter that she didn't. She admitted to dancing and flirting, but nothing more. This led to a larger conversation on her thoughts on emotionless sex. Another shocker was that she admitted that if I was the type of guy that would be okay with her sleeping with other guys, that she would probably do it. She knows I wouldn't be okay with it, so she has never brought it up. She again said that sex isn't love and that she has always been able to sleep with men and not get attached. Her friend thinks the same way. Now I'm not thinking about divorce, but I feel like my entire world has been turned upside down. What does everyone think? Well, it'll be if I was in your shoes. I'd feel like crap, to be honest. I mean, this whole thing just puts my wife's moral compass into question for me. Personally, if you're in a committed relationship, whether it's physical or emotional, cheating is cheating. And the fact that your wife is okay with one of them or thinks that one of them is not that big of a deal, that maybe her friend shouldn't have done it, but it's okay because it's just one last fling. Well, that would definitely make me question her character and whether she has cheated on me or not, because if she thinks it's okay for her friend to do it, what's her to stop her from doing it? Now, I'm sure there's a lot more information regarding this whole thing that isn't on the post, but the bottom line to me is that I think you need to have a very serious conversation with your wife. And also, I think you need to talk to her best friend's fiancé and tell him what you know. Because just like you, he might not be okay with her cheating. And what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section, and now let's check out the community comments. Okay, but not okay says, my brother from another mother. Find this man and save him from marriage to a trifling witch. That is priority one. Ignore fools who say keep out of it. You can save this man years of torment to come when it comes out after they have kids. Wouldn't you have wanted a good Samaritan to warn you in the same situation? Second priority, dig deeper. Friend groups that have these wonky ideas will almost certainly be doing this on the regular. People that are fine with the concept believe they deserve the excitement of the attractive random and to keep the stability at home with the dude that will wife them. Nothing your wife tells you can be accepted at this point. If she says it's daytime and brilliant sunshine is coming through the glass, check anyway. One of the reasons they defend each other is mutually assured destruction, as they all know each other's secrets. Telling the other guy will likely set off the chain reaction that hopefully blows the Death Star. Even if no more dirt sticks to your wife, you now know she is willing to manipulate others for her friends. Those friendships cannot be allowed to persist if you hope to go on with her. I guarantee you, this situation is even murkier than you know, and it will eat away at you to your dying day if you try to sweep it all under the rug. Often in life, we cannot rely on others. We need to be the change we want to see in the world and hope that others follow through inspiration. It's a burden, but what you just learned will be a bigger one to carry. Imagine letting this wedding go ahead and meeting the happy couple for a meal and knowing this poor clown is living a lie. Anyone that does this and claims it's a one and done will come back to it at some point. It's always going to be easier the second time. Zoe 2805 says, I think there's two components to this. Saying, I was always able to sleep with guys no strings attached and would probably do it if you were open to it. It shows a different view on sex. It could, however, still work out if you still think they are valuing you too much to hurt you and are sure they are not missing out on anything. But defending your cheating friend, that's where the real issue lies for me. That breaks all trust and need to cope with the other statement. She thinks it's not a big deal. How could you trust she didn't do it or won't in the future? And wanna be extroverted on says, well, your wife has a very suspicious view on cheating. Dubious even. Should you divorce her? I don't know. It's up to you to decide. Should you tell the bride's husband to be about the cheating? Would you want to know in his position? That's your answer. Should you DNA test your kid and do an STD panel? Probably. The community thinks there's a lot of red flags here. So let's move on to the update to see how the story ends. Many of you told me to tell the fiancé. I debated it, but another one of my wife's friends, call her Claire, who was also at the bachelorette weekend, beat me to it. The whole scene was quite traumatic from what I heard. My wife and Claire were over the house of the friend who cheated. Call her Wendy. When the fiancé came into the room, Claire said to Wendy that she needs to tell him now or she will. The fiancé pretty much knew what she meant and basically broke down. There was a lot of screaming and crying. The fiancé took it really hard. And as of now, the wedding is off. My wife looked shaken when she came home. She ended up apologizing for making light of the situation given how much pain it caused the fiancé. I told her no crap, and she admitted that her views on this were obviously much different than most people. She gave me a hug and said she would never be able to live with herself if she hurt me like that. As for what happened on my wife's bachelorette party, Claire was present for that party as well. Claire and I have been friends for years. I met my wife through her, actually. So it stands to reason that she would have definitely told me if my wife slept with another guy during her bachelorette. So I suppose I'm satisfied for now. Well, it'll be the good news is that the fiancé knows the truth. Whether the wedding is happening or not, that's his decision. But at least he knows what he's getting into. As for your wife's reaction, she admits that her views are obviously different than most people, but she didn't say anything about actually changing her views. In any case, OP, here's wishing you the best in the future. Take care and thanks for sharing. And now, let's move on to the next post that also has an update. This post is from the subreddit Am I the and it's by user ExpensiveWaltz1033. Am I the for not giving my niece the gift I planned for my goddaughter? My niece, Alexa, female 14, and my goddaughter, Daisy, female 8, are both born in December, just a few days apart. I don't really get along with my sister, so my contact with my niece is limited to family birthdays, Christmas, and Easter. I don't know much about Alexa, just that she's very introverted. She barely speaks during family gatherings, that she loves books and is always headphones on. But I had no idea what kind of music she liked. Daisy is my best friend's daughter. Her mother and I have been best friends since middle school and I've been a part of Daisy's life since day one. I'm a big K-pop fan and recently JD has picked up my passion. She loves my favorite K-group and has gone as far as learning lyrics and choreographies. So for her birthday, I decided to do something special and buy 2 tickets for their upcoming concert in January. It is a pretty expensive gift considering tickets, travel, and accommodation. But I was more focused on the memories we would build thanks to this experience. Anyway, last week, my sister heard me talking to my mom about what I planned for Daisy's birthday. She told me that Alexa loves the same K-group and asked me to take her to the concert too as a birthday gift. I explained to her that it wasn't possible as I already bought the tickets and I wouldn't be able to find another one as the concert was already sold out. Plus, I couldn't really afford a 3-people trip. So she suggested that I took Alexa since she's older and my real niece. I told her that this whole trip was planned for Daisy and it wasn't fair to ask me to change her gift in favor of Alexa. I told her that there will be other occasions and that now that I know of Alexa's love of the group, I'll make sure to gift her something related like official merchandise or a signed album. My sister called me in a hole and accused me of loving a stranger more than my blood. My mother later told me that I was being unfair and that a teen would appreciate a concert more than an 8-year-old. Am I the a-hole? No. Oh, in my opinion, you're not the a-hole. Your sister is off the mark here. It's unfortunate that you don't have a better relationship with your niece, but it's not because you didn't want to ever have one. You just don't get to spend enough time to create a bond like you have with Daisy. And that's on your sister, the same person who's now demanding that you do this. No. And also, your mom is absolutely wrong. If Daisy loves the music, then she's gonna love being at that concert. And I know that from experience because I took my daughter when she was 6 years old to her first concert and she still remembers it and says she loved every second of it. Granted, we went to see Porcupine Tree, which is just awesome. So there's no competition there. Anyways, what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments section and now let's move on to the community comments. Southern Hamster 338 says, not that your sister purposely chose to not allow you to have a close relationship with her daughter to punish you for refusing to give in to her demands over the years, and refuse to agree with her all the time. That was her choice to act like you were the toxic one and she kept you from forming a close bond with your niece. Now she decides that it's okay for you to be around her child because you bought tickets to a concert for your goddaughter? No, that's not how true family works. Please make sure that your family knows that the real reason your niece isn't going to the concert this year is only because of your sister. Because had she allowed you to pee around your niece for the 14 years she's been alive and allowed you to form a bond with her the same way your friend did, then you would have known that your niece liked the band too, and your niece would definitely have been invited. Maybe now your sister will allow you to be in her daughter's life, but she has only herself to blame that her daughter isn't doing fun stuff with her auntie. She is the only one who pushed to keep you out of her life for 14 years. Your niece missed out on trips to the zoo with you as a small child, missed out on going to the theater to see awesome movies, missed out on going to the park, missed out on having fun shopping together, etc. All the fun stuff you did with your friend's child, Your sister purposefully didn't allow you to take your niece. So she doesn't now get to dictate that your niece is suddenly allowed to go to an event that you've planned with your goddaughter because your sister waited until the concert sold out to say her daughter could go. Because if your sister had chosen to be in your life these past 14 years, she would have known about this before the tickets even went on sale because you were so excited about it. Her child has missed out on so much for 14 years. That's on her. That's exactly how she wanted it. She can't decide at the last minute that it's your fault her child wasn't included because there's no way that you even knew the things your niece even likes. How could you know? You've been exiled from your niece's life for 14 years. Enjoy the concert with your friend's daughter. Have the best time. And OP responds, "It's sad but true. I mean, it's not just my sister's fault. I never pushed for a closer relationship mainly because there's always some kind of drama with her. I roll. But I have so much more core memories with Daisy and barely anything with Alexa. She's my niece but she feels like a stranger to me." Calligrapher Fair 9146 says, "Not the keep those concert plans with Daisy. Your sister can't just demand you switch tickets last minute. That's super unfair to Daisy who's basically family too. The merch idea for Alexa is a good backup plan. Blood relation doesn't mean automatic dibs on gifts, and simply says, not the also, if your mom wants sister's daughter to go to the concert so bad, she can find the money and time to take her. Okay. Well, the community agrees that OP is not the end, that Daisy is the one that should still go to the concert. So now let's move on to the update to see how the story ends. First of all, thank you for all the kind comments. It was awesome to read that I was not being unreasonable since it doesn't happen often in my family. I decided to post this update since last Sunday was Alexa's birthday, and this Saturday will be Daisy's. So as I said, Sunday was Alexa's birthday. Even though what my sister and my mother told me about gift swapping and Daisy not really being family pissed me off, Alexa has no blame in all of this. And I felt kinda bad to just give her a generic gift. I tried to talk to my sister to know what kind of merch Alexa would love to have, or at least what she already had in her collection. I was told to go F myself and that Alexa didn't need my pity second thought gift. Eyebrow. Since she was not going to be helpful, I asked my brother-in-law. Fortunately, he was very happy to help and also grateful that I was taking an interest in Alexa. He told me my niece has social anxiety. She has no close friends and her only outlet are books, K-pop and K-drama. Apparently, my sister is always on her case because of that. Anyway, I decided to buy her the group official light stick, a plushie of her favorite member's mascot, and the new released signed album. I went a bit crazy, I know, but I was feeling pretty guilty. I swear, I don't remember Alexa giving me a true smile until she opened the presents. She lit up from within and gave me the longest and biggest hug. She was super excited because she was saving in order to buy the light stick. I told her that maybe next tour, we could go to a concert together and use our light sticks. And that's where my sister ruined it. She scoffed and said in front of everyone, "Yeah, because we all know this year. You're going with your favorite." Of course, Alexa takes the backseat. I could feel how hurt and embarrassed Alexa was, but she put on a brave face and thanked me for all the presents. Alexa told me that she didn't want to go to the concert since it was crowded and too loud, but maybe she could come to my flat sometimes to play Zelda and read manga. When my sister tried to say that I'm too busy, I shut her up and told my niece that she's always welcome. Also, I overheard my sister and brother-in-law discussing in the kitchen. He was livid with her. All in all, I think it went well. Now I'm just waiting for Daisy's birthday surprise. Well, OP, apart from the sign that your sister is a moron and almost ruined Alexa's birthday, I also think it was a good update. So here's hoping that you enjoy playing video games with Alexa and the concert with Daisy. Take care, OP, and thanks for sharing. Now let's finish this video with a mood booster post. This post is from the subreddit Malicious Compliance, and it's by user Nej2020. Treat the fire drill as if was real. My great uncle passed away at 97. And I heard this great story of malicious compliance at his memorial service day. He worked for over 50 years at the same confectionery factory, and for most of that time, he was a boiler room attendant. This was just after World War II, and at the time, most of the machines and processes were powered by steam, even the heating. The steam was generated by massive boilers, and it was his job to monitor the boilers to make sure nothing went wrong. These boilers could potentially explode, causing great damage. By law, the boiler had to be attended at all times, and there were shifts that watched them around the clock, even when the factory was closed. They took so long to heat up that it was easier and cheaper to leave them running at night. After about 10 years of no incidents, the company hired a leading hand who would also act as the safety officer. He had been a sergeant in the army, and it took his job quite seriously, being quite the disciplinarian. He instituted a multitude of new procedures, some warranted, some just to establish control. The first time he wanted to conduct a fire drill, he went around telling the staff that when they heard the alarm, they had to exit the building in an orderly fashion. He got to the boiler room and it was my great uncle on duty that day. He informed him he would not be able to evacuate with everyone else and had to stay with the boiler. The safety officer didn't give him time to explain. He just bluntly informed him that he was to treat the fire drill as if it was a real fire. No exceptions. When the fire bell finally rang, my uncle did exactly what he was told to do. He turned off the gas to the boilers, vented all the built-up steam, perched the water, and joined everyone outside. At the evacuation point, they were doing a head count when the production manager spotted my uncle and immediately approached him and asked him what he was doing away from the boiler. He said he was participating in the fire drill as instructed, but not to worry as he had shut the boiler down completely. The color immediately drained from the manager's face. He was asked how long it would take to bring the boilers back online. Apparently, it would take hours alone just to fill the boilers with water and heat them up. The big issue was that because they had done an emergency purge, they were required to inspect every pipe joint and connection for damage before to make sure it was safe to start to reheat. The other boilermen were called in, and they got paid double time to work through the night to get the boiler ready for the next day. Production staff all got sent home, but still got paid for the day as it wasn't their fault the factory couldn't run. It cost them a day's production as well. Safety officer did keep his job, but for the next 40 years, the boiler staff were all exempt from fire drills.